All right. Well, welcome to the Standing in the Gap Informational Hangout. This is our second one, and as always, we're learning about this wonderful new technology that we have. So, if you're watching, you're viewing, and I just want to thank you for being here. You're going to notice some glitches, some oddities. It's okay. We're still learning how to handle all of this technology. So, right now we have myself, Justin Dahlke, and Jake Davis, who is campus pastor of Ferris State University. And if you're on the YouTube feed, you'll notice the comment bar off to your right. Feel free to comment as we go. I'll be checking in on that as soon as we go. If you're having technical issues, comment on either in the Facebook event or on the side, and I will do what I can. So you might see me off to the side scrambling around like a crazy man. It's because I'm trying to help you get into this. And if you would like to join, we have a limited amount of space, and we should hopefully have a few others joining us. But if you would like to pop on in, just let us know, and we'll see if we can get in here. Jake, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Well, I don't know why my microphone's so loud. I do see that that is peaking here, so I'll sit back a little farther from the microphone, I guess. Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all. And again, as Steve said, thank you for joining us for this Google Informational Hangout. It's really good to be able to use the technology that we have available to us to be able to communicate information, important stuff about Standing in the Gap and what's going on with the Ministry of Standing in the Gap as it's growing, and it is growing. It really is. We've had a lot of good stuff happening, and we'll talk a little bit about that tonight as we go, just about, especially about the foundation, the Standing in the Gap Foundation, which you may or may not have been hearing about, depending on how much information you've been getting, but just about what we're doing as we're looking forward to future chapters and growth and student leader training and those kind of things, and fundraising for new chapters, all the new stuff. It just is a lot of exciting things ahead of us. So we'll get to that at the very end. So as we get started, as we did in our first Hangout, and hopefully in future Hangouts, we'll get a chance just to open up to the different chapters that are currently ministering on campus right now, that exist currently. Of course, that's Central Michigan University, and Ferris State University, and Saginaw Valley State University. And we'll just kind of have a chance to share just a little bit about what's going on, and then we'll even take questions if anybody posts something. If you're in the YouTube page there, or you're watching the live feed from YouTube, or if you're on Facebook, if you're communicating somehow that way, and or you're in the Google Hangout here. So again, Steve said we're getting started, so if you're joining us right now and you want to join the Hangout but you're on YouTube, you can post on the YouTube page and in the comment section in the upper right, or in Facebook. And Steve is also frantically sending out invitations to people as we're going here to try to get people into the Hangout. I think we're limited to 10 people, I believe, in the Hangout itself. And then from there, we can add, pretty much unlimited people watching on the live feed and commenting. So, how are we doing, Steve? Everything looking good?
It's all right. Trying to get a couple of people on in here because Google has a few quirks in and of itself, but I will get you in here. Tis all.
Monocles.
Yes, if you want to join us in monocles, we have monocles.
Okay. And then, are we going to get to the videos and stuff later? I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I haven't figured out how to put those up and broadcast them on air, so I'm going to let you handle this, because I'm not sure if we can actually broadcast the YouTube videos as is, but I will post the links at the end of this, or during this, if you want to take a moment to venture off to YouTube. We have two videos. One is a slideshow filled with testimonies. One is a bit more of an informational, done with an interview of the three campus pastors, and we'll have those up there for you. Take it away, Jake.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Well, as we open up, let's actually take some time here. I know we at least have two of the chapters represented in the Hangout. I'm not sure if Mike Taylor from Central, he might be busy tonight, or he just hasn't connected with us yet. So if he's able to join us here later in the conversation, maybe we'll hear from him. But I guess I'll take a minute just to share about Ferris State and how things are going here as we're ministering on campus. Excuse me. We've now been, at the end of this semester, we'll have been on campus for 2 years, and as of last semester, we became a registered organization here at Ferris State, and it's been a huge blessing to just to connect at Ferris State in the midst of all the requirements that they have of us, of any RSO, to become a group recognized at campus here on campus. Again, starting from fall of 2011. Where we were, no students, nobody connected with the group, to now, being a registered organization, ministering here at Ferris. It's it's an exciting thing as we talk about the vision of standing in the gap, and what, from way back when Nate shared when we were just at Central, what has happened since then. I've shared with Steve and others, about hearing Nate share the vision of multiple chapters, all the Division I and Division II schools in Michigan, and at that time thinking, how is that possible? I mean, it seems like a great idea, and what is it possible we could do that? Now being here with our third chapter of Standing in the Gap, it's pretty exciting. And so again, we started with 0 students. Now this semester we are reaching, about a regular of around 10 students or so on a Thursday night. We've been having a lot of events going on throughout the semester. We're having an extra visitor here joining us, so if you don't mind.
Hello! It's a baby!
What's up, baby?
Has she had foundations yet? She's not supposed to be here.
That's not good. No foundations. But so we have been having a really great semester here at Ferris. We've got a lot of good events. We are calling up new leaders to our informal core team for next year. We have a few students that just accepted that call for the fall that have raised up, come up through the ranks, so to speak. They've really shown a lot of promise, and we believe God's calling them up. So we're multiplying leadership. We're winning the loss. We're having win events. We're seeing people getting saved, getting baptized. We're building the believer on Thursdays. We're equipping the workers through our small groups. We have 2 small groups this semester. Actually, we're going to do foundations, but we didn't have a lot of people involved in that because we had done it last semester as the larger group. But we do have network going on, and we also have a women's small group on Proverbs led by our president, Jamie Huff. And so we've been doing all these things, and it's been really exciting. So we know we have a great future ahead of us. I really am expecting next fall to be a defining moment for Ferris State Gap as we're moving forward, to really see growth and more people getting saved, baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit, and growth as an organization, both in quantity and in quality. So that's kind of what's going on here at Ferris. If there are any questions, thank you. So if there are any questions on our YouTube, on the YouTube page or in Facebook or here in the chat, it looks like it's just 3 of us still in the Hangout, but...
I miss everybody's faces.
No, so far so good. I don't know who SJ71319 is, but he says as we go. Is that really? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to add him.
Yeah, we're supposed to have Steve.
Hi, Steve.
All right, yeah, so far so good. Let's keep it going.
All right, well...
I feel like this is a telethon.
And if you would like to make a donation, says the man with the pirate hat.
Nice. Well, if Steve Krieg's going to join us, too, we'd love to hear from him on this. Is he joining the chat or the Hangout, or is he just on the YouTube?
He should. All right, cool.
Do you want me to get Steve to the Google Plus Hangout or stay on the YouTubes?
Just invited him, so Steve Krieg. Oh, we just might have him. We have a face popping up.
And Steve
And
Krieg,
Mike
we got
Taylor.
two.
Oh, okay. If you guys,
Oh my goodness, it was Steve.
if you gentlemen have headphones, please pop some on. Otherwise, we're going to get feedback like crazy. Trust me. And we've lost audio. What happened?
I still have you.
All right.
I'm muted.
You're muted? You're not muted. I just heard you. All right. Awesome. Cool. We have 3 more viewers, so I'd be curious to know if you're viewing, could you please comment so we know who you are, so we can track you.
Yes, we're going to stalk you.
All right.
There's my mic, I think. How's it going, everybody?
Hey,
What's up?
is this Steve?
That would be me.
Nice.
Mike, do you have audio?
Michael Taylor, are we going to have to dial you in again? We lost Mike.
Mike, come back.
We lost him.
Is Jay still here?
It's Scuba Steve.
I don't know where Jake went either. Man, I love
Jake.
this technology. We'd like to make a disclaimer that we are currently experiencing some technical difficulties. If you would please hold on, hold your noses, and find a pirate hat, dog face, or monocle. We can continue to have some fun here. All right. Well, Steve, while we're still going and while we're trying to keep this moving, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Saginaw Valley State University, good sir?
Hey, I got to figure out my beard first really quick.
Okay. I like the eyelashes.
Let's see. Hang on a sec. Okay, we're good. I've always wanted one of these. So yeah. So SVSU, we just got back from Haiti. We had 14 of our members fly down there this past week for our spring break, and we just got back on what's today, Monday. We got back Saturday. So that was a really, really great experience, and we're excited to be back. We were down there working with the Church of the Brethren down there. So there are 21 Churches of the Brethren down in Haiti, and the American Church of the Brethren has been working to kind of get that running and off the ground and stabilize the church down there. And so what we were actually doing is we were helping build what is going to be the denominational center for the Church of the Brethren down in Haiti. So once they get that building finished, they're going to be setting some other stuff up, finishing the infrastructure, and then the American church is going to pretty much go hands off and give control over to the Haitians. So the Haitians are going to be running their own churches, having their own district. They're going to be setting up a program to train up their pastors. So there's a lot of really cool things going on down there. So SVSU, we were really fortunate and really blessed to be a part of that. This past week, I get to meet some of the folks down there who are running the mission, and yeah, it was a really great experience. So that's kind of what's going on there. Classes started back up today, and we're back at it. So that's about it.
Nice. We saw some photos, and we were a bit confused on how you went to Steve down there, but I think we cleared that up too.
Yeah, we decided, I was talking to Nate, and I said, whatever verb Steve is probably not something you want to do to God. So,
Oh, hello.
All right. Well, while we're still having some technical difficulties, I think going to have some couple of videos to mute that really quick. I'm going to post a couple of videos on YouTube on the page here, and if you want to take a look at them, I would encourage you to. These are two videos that we put up and ready for district conference this last summer. If you don't know what district conference is the Church of the Brethren's, Church of the Brethren being the church that sponsors Standing in the Gap. The Church of the Brethren hosts this once a year, and it's where our entire district of Michigan comes together to meet for worship and for business delegation. Matters such as that. So now that we've gotten through chapters, gotten a foundation, got some establishment in that sense, we wanted to bring some awareness to the Church of the Brethren as to what has been happening. So we put together two videos, and if you haven't seen them yet, or if you have and you really liked them, either way, I'd encourage you to take a moment to watch them. I don't think we can broadcast them right from the feed, but again, take a moment to watch these videos. One, again, is just a testimonial type video, and the other is an informational video. So I'm going to get these posted here really quick. There's one. This is the comments cannot contain links.
What?
Man, this is not exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting more and more difficult as we go. But I can tell you what you can do. You can find your way over to youtube.com/SITGCF. You can find both those videos in there. Any questions thus far? Again, feel free to post while we're having technical difficulties. I will soon. Also, you can check out our website, standinginthegap.us. You can find both videos there. You can keep up on what's going on with all of the chapters currently. And again, you can just gain information also on the Alumni Association and the Standing in the Gap Foundation, which is why we're here. So if you're in any of the Standing in the Gaps, you have been, and you want to move, just see what's going on and grow it further. There's always that. You can also always find us on Facebook. All of the chapters are on Facebook. Locate us. And we've lost. Oh, Jake. Hey, how are you doing, man? Okay.
Good. Just having some kid situations.
All right. If you want to kind of continue going on, you're the man with the agenda. I'm going to continue working on adding people in.
Yeah, if we can get Mike Taylor in, I put his number there. If you could add him in, he said he has some issues with his connection, so it's in the chat. I don't think I can add him in. I don't think I can invite him in on my own, so just add his telephone. I call him in.
Can do.
Banana phone.
Doobie-doobie-doo.
Well, so have we had any, again, I'm not on the Facebook or on YouTube at this point to see if there are any other comments, but have you had any comments or anything that's going on, or if there's any at this point?
Give me 1 sec. I actually need to re-click the link.
At this point, to have Mike share Central.
Jonathan Mancebo is with us. We have that much.
Good. Good. We'll have Mike.
Jonathan, good to have you here, man.
Yeah. We'll have Mike Taylor share when we get him back on the line. He's going to have to join us via phone, just like a teleconference call, since his internet's not really working so well for him. But again, it's just good to hear about what's happening with our, the different chapters. And I was out of the room for a minute there when Steve was sharing a little bit about the foundation, but there's some really good stuff. And we'll wait here for a minute if we can get Mike in to maybe share more about that and about our upcoming meeting in May. Because that's kind of a major part of this whole informational thing, as well as, again, just if you have any questions or wanting to hear more about, maybe a certain topic we've discussed, or I want to ask about, the future of GAP, or if you have ideas, feedback, anything like that, we can open this up to be a time where we can do that. Because, it's amazing how this body has grown from being, a few students at one university to being, a plethora of students at different universities now, 3 different chapters. And, of course, really have been talking a lot about what is it going to look like next? Where's our next chapter going to be? Where our next chapter is going to be? What is that going to look like? How are we going to grow? How are we going to expand, follow God's lead? And what is God doing? Where is He calling us to go? Those are some pretty exciting things if you think about it. So, again, we provide these opportunities for people to be able to give feedback into that and to ask the questions and for us to be available. Because I know sometimes it's easy to kind of go on and not only hear about the bigger picture stuff. So. How are we doing on getting Mike in here? There we go.
I do not have that option of adding him in via phone. Does somebody? Oh, somebody does, though.
There's Mike.
Cool. So.
There he is.
Hey, Mike, how are things going at CMU?
He's trying to find.
Sounds great.
That's amazing.
You should join an opera. Seriously.
Mike, can you hear us?
Thumbs up if you can hear us, buddy. Okay, that's good. We can't hear you so far. Thank you, Justin.
It's weird that we can't dial him in, because it would be helpful right now. I know I could do it before. Must not be able to if it's an on-air thing, maybe.
I guess not.
I guess
Now's
we're
the
learning
first time
how
to
to-
tell a joke about him, though, since he can't respond.
Oh.
Except for he can type it back.
I don't know any jokes about Mike, though, so I can't really... I don't have anything.
could pull some CU jokes, but
You know,
that'll be nice.
let's just.
Well, at this point, we can move forward just to talk about the foundation. I know we're gonna. Mike can maybe share at another time more about what's going on at Central. I know that they have some students. We can see you typing, Mike. Yeah, we see that. Just there's a lot of good stuff happening at Central, and students that are involved there, and they were able to come to the recent Unity Night that we had at SVSU, where all 3 chapters came together. It was good to see them have representation there at SVSU, and so I can't share a lot more about what's going on at Central, other than I know that they have been going pretty strong over there. Pastor Darrow at New Life, the senior pastor, has also been sharing on relationships as part of the study on their Wednesday night gathering. So they have had really good material. Mike has been going over Revelation, just really good stuff. So Mike, I'm probably not doing any justice to all the good things that are happening there, but at least it's a couple of things I can share about. And if anyone has any questions, you can type them on the comments page section on YouTube or on Facebook now or a later time. Whenever you want to do that. So, well, with that, let's go ahead and share a little bit about the foundation. I'll just share kind of some basic stuff, and if you have any questions or if anybody else has anything to fill in, we'll go ahead and do that. Again, the Standing in the Gap Foundation, it kind of came about, I think, out of necessity in a lot of ways, but even more than that, I believe it's God has been directing us in this path to get to this place where we can start to really look at the bigger picture of standing in the gap and where are we going? The question that I was saying earlier. I remember bringing it up with Nate, and of course the idea had been on my mind and probably others' minds at different times in the past, especially as we thought of starting more chapters of the group, and what is that going to look like? How are we going to oversee the growth and the expansion? With having 1 or 2 chapters, maybe even 3, we can kind of manage that. Mike and Nate and I, we get together once a month and have our campus pastors meetings, usually in Mount Pleasant or in another medium. And so we were able to kind of keep track of what's going on, but we probably realized early on, is that we need to do something to give more direction, more structure, and oversight to the bigger vision. Again, there's a big vision with Standing in the Gap. And so we had an initial meeting in Lansing Church of the Brethren a long time back, and just to kind of get some people together, I invited some folks together and said, let's get some people who really know the vision of what GAP is all about, alumni, those that have been involved, and let's just sit down and talk about what could this look like in developing an actual organization, an entity, to start we can call Standing in the Gap that really could oversee GAP. And through those conversations in Lansing way back, and then having another meeting after that, we have now developed a constitution. We've been established as an entity with the state of Michigan, Standing in the Gap Foundation. And we have a board, an executive board, if you will, for the foundation. Now, again, when we defined what the foundation was, we need a body, that votes, that makes decisions. It's not just going to be the executive group. It includes anybody who's been through foundations. So it's kind of confusing. We've talked about how confusing that might sound. Foundations, having gone through foundations all the way through makes you a member of the foundation. But that's how we worked it out, knowing that those that have been through foundations understand the basics of GAP, and we believe, of course, those that have been through foundations have probably committed and been a part of GAP or still a part of GAP, and they know what this is all about, and they're committed. And so the overall foundation, when we talk about the foundation, that has to do with all the members of the foundation are those that have been through Standing in the Gap's foundation small group. And then the board then is elected by, and at this first meeting in May, which we'll talk about, elections are held for the board members by the foundation members themselves. And the Constitution and all that's within that that defines what the purposes of the foundation itself can be found on our website, as Steve mentioned earlier, SITG.us or standinginthegap.us. And so if you go there, you can read our Constitution, which we spent a lot of time developing. We did a lot of collaboration online between meetings, and even at the meeting where we voted on it and ratified it, we spent a lot of time defining, exactly what this foundation would be about. And so some of the elements of the foundation are, to protect the identity and the vision of GAP, what it is, to support the current and future work of Standing in the Gap, to train leaders, student leaders up, to help them to be better ministers of the gospel, to network and support our alumni as well, to raise funds and doing resource building for Standing in the Gap. These are some of the things, and there are 6 points in the Constitution of the Standing in the Gap Foundation that lays out the purposes of, not the porpoises, mind you, the purposes of Standing in the Gap. So we laid those out. So if you want to know more about those, we could talk more about it. But so now, one of the big steps after we finally established that Constitution, we elected as the consensus, the group that we had together when we met for our last name meeting when we were together as a group physically and face-to-face. We've had a meeting, I think in Google Hangouts at one time too, but we elected the board that we are, the current board, that's the functioning board right now. And then we started looking into how are we going to start kind of fleshing out some of these other areas. And one thing that was done is to start raising support. Brian Mackey, who was our board chair for the executive board, started processing the documentation to become 501c3. So 501c3 status gives us the ability to receive donations, and they become tax deductible for whoever gives them. So it's a huge tax benefit for those that give, and it's just really a benefit for any organization. And so that material, I don't remember, someone could give me the information if they remember, but that was submitted at least a month or two ago, I believe, and it takes about, I think, quite a while for it to come back. So we're waiting to hear back on the approval for our 501c3 status. But I know once we get that, that's going to provide us an opportunity to receive funds and to do a lot more funds. All right, we have a question. Do we have a question here that we want to answer now, or we want to keep going?
You guys know more than me, so I'll hand it over to you.
Well, Jonathan, that's a really great question. It's been posed at times. Certainly, I think we would all love to see it find its way out of Michigan and just across the whole U.S. Right now, we are 3 out of 12. So I think that's a better question asked as we kind of come towards the end. But I think Jake, myself, Nate, and in fact, any one of us here would love to see Standing in the Gap go beyond Michigan. But right now, our focus still is 12 Division 1 and 2 schools. So, but that's a great question, and yeah, something we would love to see. Again, just go outside of the state.
Yeah, that's really good,
Mike.
We're thinking about bigger picture stuff, and that's really a good question. We've discussed that as different parts of the the board, and but again, I think Steve answered that very well. And so as we're forming this foundation, as we're trying to do right now, is we're trying to get those that would be considered or are members of this newly created foundation to be aware of what's going on, that we are calling people out because we know those that have been affected or are being affected by the ministry of GAP that has made an impact in their lives. They're the ones that are going to want to see it continue forward, and we're calling on those people to come together and to be aware, first off, of what's going on, but also calling them out to be a part of the decision-making processes that are going to be taking place. Again, and that's going to be forming as we go down the line, raising up and calling out leaders and what all that looks like, new chapters, development. And we have, Nate could share more about this whole element of a student training institute. And we're looking at the possibility of creating an institute where students can be trained in ministry practices, preaching, discipleship, evangelism, Bible study. We have a lot of people that have been really qualified in the area of training and teaching because of degree and of experience within our network of people that are involved with GAP. So we have opportunities to really develop that. So that's one great, I'm really excited about that because that improves the quality of the ministry work that we do. So we're better equipped to minister the gospel and minister abundant life and healing and wholeness wherever we go. And so again, I'm just sharing about what's coming up, though, for us. The big event, if you will, that's coming up is our May 18th meeting. May 18th meeting is going to be our very first annual meeting for the Standing in the Gap Foundation. And what will happen at that, we have an event, Facebook event out there, which you can find on our Facebook page, and the different chapter groups and those kind of things. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Kind of hang him back here. We're going to, at that meeting, we're going to have a couple different elements. Number one, Hey, buddy. Okay, hold
I
on.
need you.
Okay, it's fine.
I'm so tired.
All right, we're gonna have another little guest join us here. We're gonna have a board meeting in the morning, which we're gonna have some discussion about business. It'll be 10 to 12, and then again, this is tentative, but 10 to 12, and then from there we're gonna have a lunch and fellowship time after that, followed by worship and a message, followed by the actual a business meeting, more of an informational meeting, and the time where we'll be voting on approving one of our board members to continue in a position, or voting in a board member. And we'll have a lot of more sharing time about what the foundation really is all about there, and specific about business. So again, some major elements there will be really bringing foundation members together, especially I think of alumni, people that I graduated with or ministered alongside at Central, but obviously they're alumni at SVSU, and we have even an alumnus here at Ferris and other folks and supporters that can come together to fellowship and to worship together. And then we're going to have, the business meeting aspect where we'll vote and we'll have conversation about, future elements to GAP. So the May 18th is going to be at New Life Christian Fellowship in Mount Pleasant, and so we just really need your help to get the word out on that, and most importantly, that have you be there and be a part of that. So just encourage you to find out more information about that and let others know that we can have a really large showing for that event and really start our very first annual meeting off with a strong show of support and strong, large group of people there. So.